I guess it was the right time. Pete Buttigieg putting his hard hat on and transporting himself to East Palestine, Ohio, 3 weeks after a train derailed and spewed toxic chemicals everywhere. The Transportation Secretary said he would be all action once he arrived, but turns out he was all excuses.
The country should be wrapping their arms around the people of East Palestine, not as a political football, not as an ideological flashpoint, not as a gotcha moment. I think that includes visits, not just big official visits from the government. I'm here for the work and not for the politics. You can sense when you talk to local leaders and local residents that they're getting pretty sick of the politics too. So I lost my train of thought.
In hindsight, was that waiting too long to express anything hours after you had addressed the makeup of work crews on highway construction projects just that very day?
The answer to your question is yes. I felt strongly about this and could have expressed that sooner.
Wow. Mayor Pete's delayed trip comes as the National Transportation Safety Board released their preliminary report. It found the derailment was likely caused by an overheated wheel bearing and that the crew tried to slow the train moments before it derailed. Okay, I'm going to start with you, Piers. I mean, the truth is that here we've got a Secretary of Transportation. He's saying he's there at the right time. It's all action. How does that strike you?
Pathetic. I mean, he said he lost his train of thought. He lost his thought about the train 3 weeks ago. Let's be clear. Another quote I read, one senior Democrat who wanted to remain anonymous, as they always do. Pete Buttigieg has taken a lot of bullets for the president on this one. Really? Because it looks to me like Pete Buttigieg, who's the Transport Secretary, probably should have gone down there 3 weeks ago when this first happened, and that the only bullet that's been flying around is metaphorically into himself and any chance he now has of becoming president of the United States, because he was clearly one of the people that was being mooted to be a potential presidential candidate. But how can you be when this happens on your watch? Your job is transportation in America. You have a derailment where you have this town of people who are absolutely gripped in terror about the repercussions of all this toxic stuff going out into their community. And for 3 weeks, you stay where you are and say, I'm planning to go. And then Donald Trump goes down, calls all your bluffs, goes down and does the right thing, even though he's no longer the president. And then the next day, Buttigieg goes down and Trump says, quite rightly, well, he's only gone because I went down. I think that's true. And I think it's embarrassing. I think, like I said, it's pathetic. And if he had actually any honour, he'd probably stand down from his job, because if you can't turn up when this thing happens, why are you a transport secretary?
Well, you know, Jesse, he's taking the position that he's really the victim here, that he's taking the bullets for the president. I mean, that's what they're saying. When in truth, even Biden said Pete wasn't ready for the job when they were running in 2020.
Well, Biden's smart in this sense, is that it's never Biden's fault. He puts these people out there and then he hides, and then they take all the arrows. He does it with Kamala and the border. He does it with Pete and the train wreck. You know, I remember during the Trump administration, anything that happened in the country was Trump's fault, or it was the Trump administration's fault. Yep. But when you have a Democratic president who spends all of his time hiding in Delaware, his cabinet takes all the heat. But I have to admit, a lot of this is about a photo op when these politicians go there. We get that. But he looks like he's a little kid wearing his father's clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
He looks like, what is he, 150 pounds wet? Not even a size small construction vest fits this guy. It's draping off of him. He looks like he's wearing a costume, and he doesn't know what to do with his hands. He says that people need to go there and wrap their arms around the people there. I didn't see him hug one person. Did you guys see any tape of him hugging anybody? He looks confused, like he wants to get out of there, and he snuck in at 7 a.m. Sneaky Pete didn't show up when everybody knew he was going there, comes in before everybody wakes up or goes to work, and that's when he does his photo op and hightails it out.
All right. I want you to listen to this, Tyrus, this sound from Joy Behar.
I don't know why they would ever vote for him, for somebody who, by the way, he placed someone with deep ties to the chemical industry in charge of the EPA's Chemical Safety Office. That's who you voted for in that district. Donald Trump, who reduces all safety.
What's your reaction to that?
How, other than the fact that no sane person watches this, how are they allowed to continue to say the things that they say? So it's their fault. It's their fault. It's disgusting. Sonny can call Nikki Haley a chameleon and racist comments, and they just seem to get away with it, and they say these things. Let's not forget, and the fact you lost your train of thought, Paris, poor choice of words. Say anything else, but you lost your train of thought. You're too late. You're 3 weeks too late. They've already started working. The biggest complaint that you're hearing now from them is that the work's getting started and they don't want the media now. It's like you missed your opportunity. If you cared, you would have been down there. I'll tell you why he wasn't going to go down there, because he didn't think it was safe. Okay, that's why he wasn't down there. He waited it out, and it wasn't what they considered. We've seen in this administration, I've said it a lot on the Gutfeld show, it seems like they're fine with breaking a few eggs when it comes to lower middle class in this country. With crime, with education, just a few eggs got broke, just a few people got broke. And so it's not a big deal. This will all go away. And my hat's off to not just Fox, to social media for keeping this story alive and not letting this just slide off into the back pages and no one paying attention. Because here's the other thing. And where are the green people? This is going to be in the soil for decades. You know, this is not going to go away. Where's Greta Thunberg now? Come cry over here and get some national attention and get some help. Well, because of, quote, who they voted for you. I would say shame on her, but she has no shame. She's a disgusting person for saying comments like that, and that's just complete irresponsibility.
Yeah. The shame of it, Dana, is that we've got Karine Jean-Pierre, who is condemning the bad faith attacks on Buttigieg. And the truth is, he waited almost 3 weeks. Tomorrow would be 3 weeks. What did he do? He said he was planning it all out. First of all, we know that's not the case. He didn't know about it. He didn't comment on it until people started razzing him on social media.
Not just people, but Ilhan Omar. That's who tweeted about it when they were like, oh, we better pay attention now. I mean, this is a very rare event where you have a disaster like this that's getting more attention on the third week since it happened than it did in the first week since it happened, and they deserve the media attention. The thing about going in at 7 a.m., and what we didn't show you, there was a couple times there where the cameras are following along, and he's mad, right? But when you are 3 weeks late, you just take your lumps. They know, you have to know, like, we're not going to be able to fight back enough to get to zero. But what you should do in a disaster, and anybody that has good instincts would know this, is first you do the right thing, and then you figure out the politics from there if you have to. But they didn't do that first part, so now they're trying to catch up. And I think a lot of their, when they sound so defensive, they could take some lessons from Alex Murdaugh, who is there being like calm, cool, and collected. You're right. You know what? You're right. Yep, you got me. You're exactly right. What can I do now?
But if you have to take advice from a serial killer, you should probably not be Transport Secretary.
I don't know if he's a serial killer, but he might be a murderer.
Take advice.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.